Good morning, everybody. This is Vieta, your infection preventionist. I'm going to show you how to check today. I'm going to show you how to check, make sure that the PAPR is working well and before you use it. So those of you who failed the fit test for the N95s will need to use a PAPR. And the way this works is typically if you have a big face, you'll grab a large, they call it the headgear, or some people call it the PAPR hood, and then we'll go through the steps how to check, to turn it on and check, make sure the PAPR works correctly. So typically you'll find your battery plugged in, and our PAPRs on MedSurg and ICU live in anteroom of room 215 and anteroom of ICU 6. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to see if the battery is charged. You're going to take the battery off the charger, and the first thing you're going to do is push this test button on the back of the battery, and all 5 bars should be up. If the not all bars come up, that means that it's just not fully charged and it may not work for as long as you need it to. So once you take the battery off the charger, the way you're going to attach it to the bottom of the PAPR, and it kind of the contacts to contacts, and it snaps in like this. So once you do that, there is a couple of buttons up on the top. The very outside button, it's kind of depressed, it's an on-off switch, and this button that's more prominent, it's airflow or the fan, how fast the fan is going. So if you push the on-off button just once, it's going to go through its self-check. It's checking the battery right here, and it's checking the HEPA filter. The HEPA filter is full or fresh or needs to be replaced. So you did the self-check, both are green. It shows you the battery is full and shows you the HEPA filter is completely new, hasn't been used. So as it's going through, it continues to go through self-check. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to get this tester. You're going to need to check the flow, and this is called airflow indicator. It's kind of a funky looking thing, and the way you're going to determine after you plug it in is if the flow is adequate, if it's adequate enough to have a positive pressure in your hood or your headgear. Make sure that no outside air coming in through your hood or around your hood, just through what the Versaflow is going to push it in to the hood. The way you do it is you're going to find the elevation. We are at about 6,000 feet up here in Turkey, and then you're going to find the temperature is about 20 degrees Celsius or 68 Fahrenheit is what we usually work at. And when you cross reference it, it's about K. So K is right here. So when you plug it in, this little bubble has to float above K. So you plug it in, all you do is just insert it like this, nice and tight, and then make sure that this is standing up and down, and it's floating above K. Here's K, it's floating at G. So as this warms up more, the ball starts floating even higher up, so you can kind of see. So that's good. That's working. The next thing you have to check is you have to check that if for some reason the system gets occluded, you need to make sure the alarms go off, meaning that it tells you there's something wrong with it, so you would step out of the area you're working in. The way you do it is you occlude the airflow completely, and you can hear it, it's revving up, it's trying to push through whatever it is. That would be in the case of this hose being kinked, and it's a safety mechanism. And so how it starts alarming, once it starts alarming, it means that it is doing what it's supposed to do. We're going to shut it off. So we did the two checks, the airflow and make sure that occlusion alarm works. We're gonna turn it back on and I'll show you the rest of the check before you can go on, put it on. The way the hose fits into this machine is these two prongs have to go into these two indentations, and then you screw it on righty-tighty. And then to remove it, it's obviously going to be opposite of the end after you use it. So righty-tighty, it's nice and snug. At this point, you can attach the shroud, the gear. There's so many headgear, PAPR hood. There's, I think a lot of us call PAPR hood. It's pretty simple. You just push it in and you hear the click. To remove it, you squeeze these two together and remove it. So squeeze it like that or push it in like that until you hear a click. It's nice and snug, it's not falling off. And then you're gonna put this hood, I'm not gonna show it, but you're gonna put over your head. Again, this is a large one. We also have small, medium hoods, and so people with smaller faces typically will need something smaller, and people with larger faces will need something larger. Surgery has hoods that actually have shrouds hanging off of them that they can put under the sterile gowns to keep their sterile field clean. So they have those to wear. And then inside, there's also these little adjustments you can play with. Ideally, we want to assign one of these per person after each use. So as it sits on you, you're going to grab it by the back of this and kind of take it off. Never take this off inside the negative pressure room or inside the room where the patient is. You want to step outside of that room and do it. And once you take it off, you can shut it off. Shut off, you have to kind of push and hold. And at that point, you're gonna need to use our regular cleaning and disinfection wipes. Some people prefer, while this is still on them, to use the wipe to clean the outside, kind of like this, and then take it off. Once this is off, you wanna wash your hands and go get new clean set of gloves and clean everything else up. And ideally, if you're gonna use this throughout the day, you can keep it in the anteroom on the counter, but at the end of the day, you wanna take everything apart. Take your hood, put your name on it. Some people put it kind of on the front, some people put it on the back, but take your hood and put that into a clean bag and keep it in a safe place. I know that in med-surg, you guys have developed some bins that you keep some extra PPE in that's assigned to each person. On ICU, there's a lot of hanging areas. So just need to come up with a safe place to keep. And then after you wipe all the surfaces of everything down, you want to take the battery off and put it back on the charger. After about a day of use, it does need to be charged. We will have extra batteries once these go out. We will have extra batteries in each unit or available through either materials or myself. And then everything is clean and you just put it back into the bag so everything is nice and protected. And then this goes into a baggie and back into that. And that's about it. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. These are great machines. They're a little cumbersome to use, but they're the advantage to these over the ones that we have. So these are Versaflows. The ones that we have currently, they called AirMates. Those are old and we can't get parts for them, so we replace them with these. It's also a 3M product. The good thing about these is that you can change the how much airflow goes through your hood. So if you get a little warm, you can increase the airflow just pushing this button. And of course, you're not gonna see it because it's gonna be on the back, but you will feel the extra flow moving. Obviously, the faster the fan works, the faster the battery will deplete. So you kind of have to find that balance. It does take hours and hours before it depletes. I haven't really timed it to see, but it does take hours. That's about it.
Sveta, do those safety checks need to be done every time you put it on?
Yes, before each time. I know that at the very least you want to make sure the battery is operational. So if you do it at the beginning of each shift and it's operational, make sure those two things get checked. There's the airflow, and then the occlusion alarm needs to go off. Or it basically tells us there's something wrong with the unit. Either the air isn't flowing properly because it's kinked, or something else is wrong with it. You could have an alarm go off because the HEPA filter is filled up. You could have an alarm go off because the battery is getting very, very low. So as soon as you hear that alarm, that it's kind of annoying, so you're gonna know that it is an alarm and not just a check, you need to step out of that area. So the other thing you have to make sure before choose, make sure you check, especially if you're reusing your own hood, make sure there's no tears or punctures on the hood. Make sure that the two things that can go wrong most frequently, and there's no punctures or tears in this hose. That's why at the end of each shift, before you go home, after everything is clean, please keep everything in this bag to just keep things safe and they don't get banged around and torn or broken. Let's see, I think that's it.